Republicans in Washington have pursued a three-step plan to rig our tax system and to run up the deficit. Number one, shovel tax cuts to the wealthy and the giant corporations whenever they are in charge. Number two, slash funding at the IRS so that they can't take on rich tax cheats. And number three, pretend to care about fiscal responsibility when there's a Democrat in the White House so that the Republicans can hold our economy hostage. And let's face it, this scam has worked. The audit rate for millionaires has plummeted, and for years, corporations have contributed a declining share to national revenue to make this country run. And that's why the Inflation Reduction Act that Democrats passed last year imposes a new 15% minimum tax on billionaire corporations and provides the IRS with new funding to track down wealthy tax cheats. But the very first thing that the House Republicans did when they took power this year was to repeal the new IRS funding. So, Mr. Werfel, let me just ask, if that funding went away, would it make it harder or easier for billionaires to get away with cheating on their taxes?
Senator, I think it would make it harder. The goal is to increase the IRS capacity today to unpack these very returns you're referring to. So if the funding is repealed, we wouldn't have that lever to increase our ability to unpack those returns.
Okay, so in other words, if Republicans succeeded in repealing IRS funding, we'd have more billionaire tax cheats, and that sounds like it's going to cost us money. So let me ask the rest of that question. Mr. Werfel, would the Republican bill to defund the IRS increase or decrease the deficit?
It would increase the deficit. I typically look to CBO in terms of how they scored legislation. They scored the Inflation Reduction Act as a saver. So repealing
Meaning reducing the deficit.
Reducing the deficit. So if they repealed it, it would increase the deficit. I don't know the exact figure, but if I recall, they said it would increase the deficit by more than $100 billion.
Yeah, and actually the Treasury's estimated it will cost even more if we don't do this, about $400 billion. And then there's the latest Republican scam, the so-called fair tax. House Republicans plan to vote on this to slap a 30% national sales tax on everything that Americans buy, from gas to groceries to housing to health care. And at the same time, it would scrap all the taxes designed around people pay according to how much money they have. So, Mr. Werfel, how do sales taxes generally impact lower income folks versus how they impact the wealthy?
Sales taxes are regressive.
Meaning?
Meaning that they impact the low income in a more substantial way. They pay more. It's kind of a share of wallet. It's kind of, the more tax you have on a common good or services, a low income person is going to feel that in their wallet more than a high income taxpayer.
Hello, friends. I have good news to share with you this Thursday. The Biden administration is making progress right now on providing more Americans with financial assistance this year. You may qualify for thousands of dollars in relief. Also, there will be several key Medicare changes that will be taking effect in just a few months. Friends, please do me a big favor and watch until the end of this video. Also, at the end of today's video, I will be announcing the two winners of today's Walmart gift card giveaway. Please, friends, make sure that you do stay tuned until the very end. A series of important Medicare reforms become effective this year. It will allow more people to access their Medicare coverage without lengthy delays. Several key provisions of the Inflation Reduction Act, which was signed into law last summer by President Biden, also take effect this year. Those changes will improve prescription coverage under Medicare Part D. There is also a do-over opportunity that could be a money saver for diabetics who receive their insulin through Part D prescription plan. The United States government has confirmed it will select the 10 costliest prescription medicines for negotiating prices with prescription makers starting early next year. The Inflation Reduction Act will allow the federal Medicare health plan for people aged 65 and older and the disabled to negotiate prices on some of its most costly drugs. The law grants the government the right to choose any 10 from a list of 50 medicines responsible for the highest Medicare spending that qualify for negotiation, but it doesn't specify the exact criteria for choosing them. Dr. Meena Seshamani, director of the Center for Medicare, outlined in an interview how Medicare will select the initial prescriptions for negotiation, after first determining which medicines are eligible and not subject to one of several exemptions not outlined in the law. He said, "Then from there, we rank the negotiation eligible prescriptions according to total expenditures for the 12-month period, and we will select prescriptions with the highest ranking." To produce that list, the agency first needs to decide whether to use gross Medicare spending or net spending, which takes into account often sizable aftermarket discounts. Government officials said it would announce the list of 10 drugs in September. The agency will make its initial offers in February 2024, and the negotiation period will end that August 1st. It will publish the final prices 1 month later and will take effect on January 1st, 2026. With the legality of President Biden's broader federal student loan forgiveness program still in question, the United States Department of Education has proposed revisions to income-driven repayment plans that may result in considerable cuts to loan payments. In fact, some borrowers will have zero monthly payments. The Department of Education proposed regulations that will amend the revised pay-as-you-earn repayment, which is also known as a REPAY plan, as well as phase out the 3 existing income-driven repayment plans. Millions of borrowers participating in the existing payment plans will follow the new plan when it's enacted into law, but will need to enroll through a federal student loan provider or through the federal student aid website. The new proposed regulations do not include changes to accommodate those holding Parent Plus loans, which are not repayable on an income-driven repayment plan. So to qualify for the zero monthly payments, borrowers must make less than around $30,600 a year, while individuals in a family of 4 cannot make more than roughly $62,400. According to Business Insider, undergraduates will have their payment obligations slashed in half, as the new plan will revise the required discretionary income payment from 10% to 5%. The Biden administration is attempting to correct what it deems is a flawed repayment plan system and a wider problem with never-ending debt payments. So if enacted, the new legislation would enable many borrowers with original federal student loans of $12,000 the opportunity to pay it off after 10 years. Leftover debt after 20 years of payments will be forgiven under the REPAY plan rules. Well, my beautiful and most dearest friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for this Friday. My friends, thank you so much for being part of this community and for joining me here every day. The 2 winners of today's Walmart gift card giveaway is Sharon Clayton and Shelly Zealous. Congratulations, my friends! To claim your gift card, please check your notifications page and send me a message. Or you can message me on my Facebook page. Remember, friends, I'll be giving away more gift cards next Friday. Please don't forget to enter the giveaways by clicking and liking several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch.